Good evening, our lovely viewers out there. We thank God that, like always, you make time to watch Rhythms of Life. My name is Nana Akusia Boateng, and every week you can attest to the fact that we bring some unique and beautiful personalities right here on Rhythms of Life to share their experience, their growth, and the impact they've made so far on lives through their jobs and their Christian lives. And today we have another wonderful personality joining us. If you watched last 2 weeks, we had Mr. Eric Asumeni, who shared in experience. You know, he was given an award as the most outstanding teacher for STEM, which was organized by Vodafone Ghana. This week, we are having another wonderful teacher here. This time around, it wasn't for the Vodafone, but for what GES stands for. That is the Ghana Teacher Prize Awards. He got nominated and he won it. He happened to be the national best junior high school teacher for this year. And who is it? It is Mr. McClean Owusu Boateng. Mr. McClean.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
By the grace of God.
I kind
doing
of
well.
Yeah, we thank God. And the family?
Everybody is doing well.
We thank God. I kind of like your sash, you know, black with the gold.
Thank you very much. It was given to me by Ghana Teacher Prize, that's National Teaching Council, as the best GHS teacher 2022. Yeah.
How are you feeling right now?
I feel good.
You feel good?
I feel good.
Feel like you're on top of the world, right?
Yeah. I feel good. It has given opportunity to be here. Yeah, I've heard of Hope TV several times, but at least this award has paved the way for me to sit here with Akusia.
Oh, okay.
The chat, yeah.
We thank God for that.
Thank you very much.
But prior to this national award, okay, have you received any award from your school or any other school you've worked?
I completed training college in 2004. So I started my work as a teacher in September 2004. I was first posted to Mainhian. Actually, my first posting was to Isawem, but because of one or two reasons, I had to seek for release, and I was brought to Mainhian SDA, where I spent 2 years. After the 2 years, I was transferred to Nelo SDA. So that was 2006. And I've worked with Nelo SDA GHS till date. I think as a teacher, my first award was given to me by Nelo SDA. That was in 2012 as the overall best teacher of the school then. So apart from that, some recognitions from the church and also, let's say, the school board because of my work as a music director, directing the school choir. And then making sure that through the school choir, the school's name goes far. Yeah, I was recognized for that. So for recognition, I think I've received a lot from the school and even the church. All
right. Yeah. Do you think it's as a result of your good work in your classes, or there's more to you receiving those awards?
Yeah. I always believe my strength comes from God. The knowledge and then the intelligence I have, I did not create it myself. God gave it to me. So even though physically you see me working, there is a force behind that, and that force is God. So what man saw and gave me that recognition was the one I did physically. But I believe that the expected end that God always wants for me was what I achieved. So it came in the physical sense so that man will see what God is doing for me spiritually. Even though I did, but I give credit to God. He did it. Yes.
Of course, he did it.
Yes.
What are some of the responses you had from your fellow teachers in NELA?
In connection to the award,
yes.
right? In fact, I love the way my teachers encouraged me, my co-teachers encouraged me when I was nominated as part of the top 15 in terms of the teaching category. Everybody did his or her best to push me so that I could prepare well for the interview. And the prayers they ushered on me, I was so happy. Down way from my head down to, let's say, the list of my co-teachers. Everybody was working hard to ensure that I would come home with something spectacular. When they heard that I received the award, in fact, they sang the praises for me. I was in Tamale and I heard what was happening in the school. Students as well as the teachers, everybody was happy. Was happy for me. So I think the reaction was good. And they loved the fact that I received the award. Yeah.
You made mention that they all did their parts to make sure that you win the award. Is this something that happened on the regular, like, you know, that kind of involvement, supporting each other as teachers? Because most of the time you barely see these things.
Nilo is a family. Nilo SDA, basic school, is a family. If you have been in that school before, you would love the experience. We are connected. In fact, when you go to Nilo, it is like the lifestyle of villages, right? Yeah.
Well, why do you say
connectivity is there? Everybody knows any other person.
Okay.
Whoever brings something and it is special, everybody is ready to support. You don't come out with an idea which everybody sees that it will help the school and it will not be supported by the rest. I, for one, mostly if I come out with my music programs, I see all the teachers supporting. Any other teacher comes with that program that we think will help push the name of the school high, we all get involved and we do it. So none is left out. Everybody is included. And it makes it a family. Brother, sister, connections. That's what we have there. Yeah. And we see our headmasters, our mother. So the teachers, the male teachers, our brothers, the female teachers, sisters. So that is what we have there. And the students are our children. Nilo is a family. That is how I will summarize it all. So just as you experience in your family, we have the same thing there. Yeah.
Your family. You made mention the singing of praise, not only teachers, but then students.
Yep.
So you believe that about 99% of your students love you? I
wouldn't say 99. Let's say 95.
Why are you saying 95?
There's an adage in Akan that says that nipa nyina do word nipa nyina so tan word. But at least if it comes to love, you should have a higher number of the people loving you. So in terms of percentage, I don't know what everybody thinks. Yeah. So I can't say everybody, but from what I've seen, I believe that the largest part of the students, at least the majority of them, love me, but it is not all. So 95%, I believe, yeah.
So the 95 loving, what kind of relationship do you have with your students?
I relate well with the students. When you mention McClean's name, some students get frightened.
Why?
Because he is a disciplinarian. He plays with students, but when you miss it, you know go scot-free. Sometimes you'll be advised. Sometimes you'll be scolded. Other times, upon about 3 or 4 warnings, the punishment will follow. It all comes back to the fact that I want to impact your life and make you somebody tomorrow. And students who have passed through my hands, they come and they attest to the fact that, Sir McClean, we thank you for the training you gave us. I remember the time one guy came, he was with the military, and then he came. He said he could go through the training just like that, without any stress, without any problem. Whilst the others were struggling, he was just making it. And he came to me, he said, I give you the credit. You gave me that training, and it has taken me through to that level. I will make sure you do the right thing. That's all. Whichever way I have to apply, whatever strategy I have to apply, I will do that to ensure that you are good, as well as that. So I'm loved to do, but I don't play with my discipline in terms of, I don't play with that. I work with that.
Have there been a situation whereby during this teaching, you've had an issue with a student, like making your work a bit difficult for you?
Not really. Not really. I've never had any serious problem. Yeah. I remember there was a time we have a problem like that, yes. There was a time I actually forgot about this incident because it was, I never liked it. I've never wanted it to be part of my history. So painful, so bad. That in disciplining a student, even though I was not all that involved, about 4 teachers were involved in that, but it landed in the police station, right? And they cooked the story, though, but we sailed through. It was a nasty experience, and I've always not wanted to discuss and talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because every time I remember that the things that go through me, my mind, my heart, sometimes I am forced to do things I don't do. Mentioning the name of the boy, and then in court, I might cast some curses on the person. So I normally don't want to.
And it was very serious.
Yeah, I normally don't want to. The first time I cried publicly, I hardly shed tears. But openly, I wailed. I did not just cry, I wailed. My mom could not understand that, but I did. Sitting at the counter back for the first time in life, I felt that pain. I didn't want it. All in the name of trying to straighten a boy, and it was taking something else. Yeah, so 4 teachers involved in this issue, but at the end of the day, I let go. And then I let God. God is always God. I got to believe that it was an expected end that God gave to me so that I would learn from them. Maybe it could have landed me something else.
Okay.
Even though I was not all that involved, but a part of the 4. Okay. It taught me a lesson, and I had to reschedule my way of disciplining students. Yeah.
That's a good, not to get you so emotional. Moving on, you are an account teacher at
Yes,
Maryland.
please.
And you know, most of our schools here in Ghana, particularly, I don't know for other countries, but here in Ghana, you're barely allowed as a student to speak vernacular.
Yep.
Aside probably any other local dialect.
Dialect, yeah.
Has it been a challenge for you? Or was it a challenge for you?
If man understands, let me say Ghanaians, if Ghanaians understand the power of language, we would always love to train our kids with the mother tongue. God had the power to destroy the people who were building the Tower of Babel. But what did he say? He said, let's go there and confuse their language. They were speaking one language. That was why they could build that tower to that level. When God confused the language, that project came to a halt. They couldn't continue. It tells you how language is powerful. So if we respect our national languages in Ghana, we'll go high. When I got to NALO, that rule was there. You don't speak vernacular in the school, you don't speak vernacular in the school. So actually, in a way, you say, when you go to Rome, do what Romans do.
Exactly.
So one way or the other, I joined.
Even though you were an account teacher?
Yeah, one way or the other, I joined. But after a while, I sat and I thought of it. I said, no. How do I promote mine? I teach Akan, but if a child speaks Akan, I join them to punish that child. No. I think I can do something about this. The performance was poor. think when I got there, even grade 2 was a problem. And I had this zeal to ensure that some students will get 1. If a student get 1 in Akan and you don't want the child to speak the language, how do you achieve that? So I had to get the English teacher, then Mr. Amwakwachi. I spoke to him that, please, there's something I want to discuss with you. This issue of vernacular speaking and the punishment the students are given, I think it's not helping me. What do you think? And I thank God he agreed with me. So we needed to lift that one of punishment on them. We made it open. Those who wanted to speak English would do that. Those who wanted to speak the vernacular. Through that, we wanted to promote French speaking in the school so that at least at the end of the day, the student could be multilingual. It's an advantage. You could speak French, your local language, Akan or whatever, and then English. And by so doing, at the end of the day, it helped. Students felt freely to communicate and express themselves. See, they were speaking calculated English language. They didn't want to make a mistake. So we'll say I, then we'll wait and think of what you say. No, but if you were to speak in your mother tongue, you could flow and enjoy that. By so doing, the language or the subject became so interesting and performance began to go higher. Then we achieved the 1s and the 2s in it. So it was a challenge, but by the grace of God, I could solve that. And for now, I think it is open. Okay. If you want to speak English, speak it. If you want to speak the vernacular, you speak it. But most of the time, because English is our official language, we try to ensure that they try to speak the English.
It's balanced.
It's balanced, That's what we do.
And did you involve parents? Because you see, in our time, some of our parents enforce that we speak English, but this current generation we find ourselves in, you realize that most parents, it's all about English, right from the infancy to go. It's English. You barely see some parents speaking the local dialect to their kids.
There is a misconception. They think they want to connect intelligence to the speaking of English. But I don't know why. If you speak Cree, you're not intelligent. If you speak English, yes, that is not it. Wisdom is learned from the mother tongue. If you want to see that a child is wise and knowledgeable, then that child must be able to speak his mother tongue, his local language, fluently and well.
Are you saying this because you're a Akan teacher?
No, but I believe in that. The fact that you can speak English doesn't mean you are more intelligent. Yes, we learn that. But today, what do we see? Right from the womb, the child is taught how to speak English. A little kick, a mother says, hey, what's happening? No, that shouldn't be. So I think, as you said, parents, and we need other stakeholders to get involved so that we could promote the speaking of our language, especially the native ones. In education, I think there's a policy. We use the local language of the locality where the school is situated. That is what you're supposed to use to teach from preschool up to lower primary, that is class 3. Then from class 4, we begin to use the English as a medium of instruction to teach.
The policy of GES.
Yeah, that's a policy of GES.
Okay.
So that is how it's supposed to be. But it looks as if we are diverting from that to something else.
Actually, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Oh, sorry. That is the policy. But we are not doing it. So I think if all teachers would resort to this policy and then implement it and execute it as it's supposed to be, it will help. Yeah, I believe so. And get all parents and other stakeholders involved in this. I think we will be able to make amends and then correct certain things. And it will add to development in our country.
Are you working on something like that to push that agenda?
Yeah, I have that as a project. So my next, I think I want to enroll for my MPhil. And I want that to be a project that I'll write on. language and development. But the key interest will be on the local language. Yeah.
All right. So did this award winning change how you feel about your profession, or it brought in another kind of feeling?
A teacher is always a teacher. So I was a teacher. I won an award, and I'm still a teacher. Just that I have learned a lot. It has opened a lot of avenues for me, so I can do more. Maybe I was limited in a particular field, but the award has made me realize that there are more I can do for others in terms of impacting other people's lives. So I feel good, but I still see myself that great teacher, and I want to do more. Yeah.
So meaning that if supposing you didn't get that recognition or that award, you wouldn't have thought of adding more, even though you're hardworking, but you've not thought of adding more to what you're doing.
The step I took into this brought more suggestions. I met a lot of people, and through our interactions, I learned other things. Maybe before enrolling into this award issue or award system, I thought whatever I was doing was okay. The account will say the ultra sign miss in the chair. But at the end of the day, the connections and interactions with other people I had never met. But because of the award issue, I got into contact with them. I've learned other things. I've learned from other fields, and I know that there are more I can do and add to what I was already doing. Yeah, so as you go higher, as you meet other people, you learn more things. And you only adapt the good ones and you apply in your field. And that will help. So I just will do more. What I did not know, now I know. And I want to do more. That's it. Yeah.
Did someone nominate you? Because most of the time, these awards, someone has to nominate you.
Yeah. I was commended several times to go, but I didn't want to. This time around, it was an online application.
So no one actually nominated you?
I got encouragement from my brother, Erika Sumenia Santi, and my headmistress, Mrs. Sewa Debra. They rather encouraged me the more. And I became interested, even though initially I wasn't. But when I saw that these two people very close to me were telling me that I have to move on, I did, and I applied. And by the grace of God, here you see me, the national best JHS teacher, and I thank God for that. Yeah.
Yeah, may God bless them all.
Amen. Amen.
You know, growing up, people had their own perception or the kind of minds they had with teaching. Growing up, was it actually your dream to become a teacher, or along the way, it looks as if you had no option than to be a teacher?
Actually, I've never regretted being a teacher, because I decided to be a teacher when I was in JHS2. Even though then a kid, I could say maybe I didn't know what I was talking about, but I'm controlled by my soul. So whatever my soul desired then was what came out of me. I've loved to be a teacher since then. Actually, most of the time I give credit to my father. When I completed school, peer influence. So I wanted to enter into the university at the age of 18, 19. My father actually helped me get the forms. But I think it was a plan of God for me to be a teacher. A friend of my father came, told my father that, why don't you enroll your son in a training college? He's too young to go to the university. My father heeded to this advice. He told me, in the way I tended to be recalcitrant, but my father did not give up. When I had to get the forms for me, I filled the form, I went for the exams. I passed. He took me to Koforidua, I went for the interview. Actually, I was enrolled in Ascori SDA Training College, now College of Education. And I passed the interview too, so I got enrolled. But it was a path that God had already paved for me, that I had to do the work of His Son, Jesus Christ. So I entered into it, came out. Initially, I had this in mind that, okay, it will be a stepping stone for me. I would just be in it for some time and I would move out. But I could not.
You had to do what? Were you planning to be some, you know, once people come and they're like, okay, I wanted to become a doctor, but along the way I realized that my passion is here. So the forms you were buying to go to the university, what were you looking out to do there?
Actually, I had in mind that I wanted to work with immigration.
You wanted to become an immigration officer?
Yeah.
Is it because of your height?
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, but along the line, I worked towards that. I could have gotten it, but I had developed love for the students. So a friend who was even helping me get that job was ready to push me, but I told him no. I feel pained leaving my students behind. I don't know why.
Is it that you were praying towards where to go?
I never prayed towards that. I just had I never prayed towards that. For that one, I never sent it to God that I would want to be an immigration officer. No, never prayed towards that. But I always felt that I had to impact a life. I believe in detecting skills and then building them. Like I always say, I want to die empty, so that when I'm no more, I will still live. My name will still be living. So whatever I see in the student, I try to build it and make the person somebody. But I realized becoming an immigration officer, how could I get the opportunity to do these things?
You felt you wouldn't be able to impact lives?
Yeah, that was what I felt. I might not be able to do that because I wanted to pick it from that level, impact that life. Then the child becomes somebody tomorrow. You see the person and you feel proud that, yes, in one way or the other, I did something to the future of this boy or this girl. Yeah. So that kept me back, and then I had to be in the classroom.
Oh, okay.
And I thank God I've done a lot. By the grace of God, I've impacted lives, and I'm happy for that. Yeah.
All right, dear viewer, we get to know all the lives he has impacted. But we also have to know, where did he start from? You know, growing up for a child. He has given us a gist of his junior high school life, moving on to the college. There's more to be learned, but then let's go for this quick music break. We'll be right back. Please don't go anywhere.
Lord, you've been our dwelling place in all generation. Before you created hills, brought the world into being. From the everlasting to the everlasting, you are God. You take men back to dust and sea. Return to It's like a day that's just gone by, like water in the night. 1,000 years before your eyes, it's like a day that's just gone by, like water in the night. You are God. You turn men back to dust and sea. Return to dust, O Son of Man. 1,000 years before your eyes, it's like a day that's just gone by, like water in the night. 1,000 years before your eyes, it's like a day that's just gone by, like water in the
Welcome back from the break. If you just joined, this is Rhythms of Life, and today our guest is Mr. McClean Owusu Boateng, the national best teacher for junior high school category. He actually won for the Ghana Teacher Prize, which is done by the Ghana Education Service. So, Mr. McClean, before I went on the break, you gave us a gist of when you were in junior high school.
Yeah.
How you got so much interested in becoming a teacher, but along the way, you were a bit not clear about it.
Yeah.
But how was your childhood like? Where are you from? Your parents? Growing up, how was it like?
Complex and complicated, but I'll talk about it.
Complex and complicated.
Yeah.
What makes it complex and complicated?
Regarding where I come from. Actually, I'm a Fanti. Per the Akan tradition. I'm a Fanti because my mom is a Fanti and my dad is from Bono.
But I thought the Akans, they do more of the father side than... Okay, mother, maternal.
Mother,
it is
it's
rather
maternal,
the
rather.
elders who do them.
Yeah, so for Akan it's more maternal. So for where I come from, per the Akan tradition is Elimina, that's Edina.
Okay.
That's where my mom hails from. But we were trained in Bunahafo, then. So a village called Tertiary, in Ahafo, part of Brahafo. That was where we were trained by. My father comes from Brekum. Yeah, father comes from Brekum, but his father is from Tertiary. So that was where we based. Growing up, actually, what I could talk about 5 or 4 years, I saw myself in Tema. Then I was later transported to Tertiary, where I had my elementary education, that's primary and GHS. Then after that, I attended senior secondary school in Brekum. That was Brekum Secondary School base. Then from there, I entered into the training college. Yeah.
But
as a child,
before you even proceed with that, you spent some years in Tema before going to Tertiary.
Yeah, I was just a child.
That transition from Tema to, moving from a bit of the city, I don't say village per se, but it's two different kind of experience.
Yeah.
How were you coping?
I was a child, so
you didn't really.
I didn't actually see anything. The only thing that maybe I can talk about was finding it difficult to go to the farm then. So I remember my grandmother always shouting at me, hurry up, because I was picking the leaves one by one. Yeah. I didn't know what was wrong with me. But
city boy.
Yeah. But I think that is the only thing that for now I can remember. But life there was also fun. I loved it. I loved to be there. So a lot happened in my childhood life, but I think I can't spell it all out today.
So share with us some of it.
Okay. Let's talk about school life. The primary school actually was liked by my teachers, because I don't want to praise myself, but I was intelligent in a way. However, I didn't like sitting down to study on my own. I'd always loved to be in a group. I'd always loved to share my ideas with others. So I was mostly made a group leader. Yeah. I even became class prefect once. That was class 3. But I remember because I did not have badge, I was demoted. One day, my Madam Betty, I remember the name, demoted me because I didn't have the school badge. Yeah, it was something. And along the line, I really enjoyed my colleagues as well. I had some good friends who were also very good. And I've loved them to date. Line of Tede Frank, Dixon Jamfi, Benyako. Benyako now is a chief in the village, and Hayford and the rest. I can't mention all of them. We were together, we played together football. We went to other places most of the time. Yeah. My mom was a fishmonger. Yeah, so I used to help my mom. Because of that, they loved me. Because they could come to the market and my mom would give them fish.
For free?
Yeah, for free. My mom was very generous. Yeah. Unfortunately, she's late. Yeah, may her soul rest in perfect peace. She's late now. So I helped my mom a lot. I could sometimes walk from Tertiary to another village called Frisipa to help sell some of the fish.
What was the distance? Let's using, could you, like from Osu to Circle?
I don't know that distance though, but it's likely. Yeah, it's likely to be by that distance. I don't know how to calculate that in kilometers, but in a way it was quite far. You had to walk through the bush and whatever. Very dangerous though, but I needed to do that.
How old were you then?
Let's say 13, 14. Yeah, for classes, JHS 1, yeah, 12, 13, 14, thereabout, yeah. But because in terms of body build-up, yeah, I had that stature. Okay. Yeah, I appeared more than my age. Yeah, so if you at that time you could think I was old, but I wasn't. And the best I could do to help my mom was that helping sell the fish, so that at least it could support my dad in terms of
You're not from
taking
really
care
a
of the
rich
family.
home.
Not really. Because when I completed GHS, my father had wanted me to learn carpentry from his brother at the village, you can imagine.
Because he felt he couldn't.
There was no
continue.
money. Not that I could not. When it comes to my performance, it was very good, excellent. But my father didn't have the money to enroll me in the senior high school. So all that he could do for me was to enroll me in a carpentry shop so that I could learn how to build kitchen stools and whatever. But God being so good, see, like I always say, God has an expected end for everybody. And regardless of whatever, you will get there. So my mom, a teacher, one of my teachers came to my dad and told my dad that I've heard you want to do this and do that and do that. No, your son has a very bright future. So whatever it takes you to ensure that he goes to secondary school, do it. My father was working with PPAG, Family Planning Association, something like that. So he was selling pills and whatever. So
Was he
had
like
a package.
a health person?
Yeah. So he was working with them, I think, as an agent. Yeah, he was working with them as an agent to help distribute their medicine, their drugs and whatever. Yeah. So I think he had a package, some pills that he took to the market. And God being so good, somebody bought all of them. At that time, my school fees, the admission fee was supposed to be 198,000 then. But my father got 200,000. So 198,000 was used to pay my admission fee. I couldn't become a boarder. So I was sent to Brekum to stay with his brother. So I was a day student then. But
What senior high school?
Brekum Senior School, yeah, BES. Brekum Secondary School then. It was called Brekum Secondary School, BES. I was a day student then. I never liked it, actually, because I could not have the chance to observe my Sabbath, because those I stayed with were not Sabbath observers.
So meaning that you were born into an Adventist home?
Yes. My father, my mom, they were Adventists. Yeah. So when I was taken there, I was living in non-Adventist. They were attending church on Sundays, but would go to farm on Saturdays. So you can imagine. There was no way I could be left out, that I would go to church and they would go to the farm. So I wouldn't do anything. So most of the time I was taken to the farm. But I prayed a lot. I prayed a lot because I was always weeping. I never liked the aspect where I would think of my family being in church, worshiping, and I would be in the farm, building yam mounts, or the kokofie.
Yeah, coffee.
Yeah. So anytime I was in the farm, I was thinking about my family, thinking about friends that I was singing with in the quartets, thinking about a singing band. I had once been a singing band leader, so I couldn't bear that. Well, even whilst working, I was to be praying. God being so good, I got a government scholarship that took me from that house to the boarding house. I became a boarder when I got to Form 2. So I was very happy. Seriously, I thank God for that.
How was your
Took me out of that.
eating like? Because you're not being able to go to church is a non-Adventist home. So how are you coping? The food, or you just had to go with the flow?
Fortunately, one way or the other, they understood our principles. So I think my father discussed with them. So if they would prepare something that wasn't appropriate for me, they would do something else. So let's say maybe they will use a crantier for their soup. They will have to prepare one that will use maybe fish for me. Yeah, after that one, they coped with that. The only thing that was a problem was going to the farm on Saturday. But aside that, any other principle of the Adventist, I didn't have a problem.
Were you the only child of your parents, or you had siblings?
I'm the only son, but I have 2 other sisters. The only son and the first son too. I have 2 sisters following me. Yeah, so for them, they were with my parents in tertiary, whilst I was enjoying my creation of coffee in Brekum. Yeah.
Your life in the senior high school, how was it like?
It was normal. I was there to learn. I was there to achieve something. I was there to make my dad proud, so not my family or my parents proud.
Was it that you felt you were the firstborn? Like kind of that responsibility?
Yeah, I always had that in mind that one day I would have to carry my family on my head. So I needed to get a firm foundation so that it wouldn't be much burden when it gets to that time. So anything I found my hand doing, I with my whole heart was pushed into it. I didn't want to make any mistake. I didn't want to do anything that would tarnish that image I wanted to build. So every level of my life, with all seriousness, I put in my best. So at the senior secondary school, I did the same thing. I was there to learn, and that was what I did. Even though you could have other fun things to do, but the focus was on my studies, my academics. And by God's grace, we were able to make it. And that finds us here today. Yeah.
So where are your sisters now?
One is in Tema, no Lebanon, Shama Lebanon. The other one is Kuforidia, a teacher in Kuforidia now. Her name is Fusia Boateng.
You've influenced her.
Oh, yeah.
I like the response,
Yeah.
like, oh.
As soon as I completed training college, my father told me, Sabbath is your responsibility. I said, don't worry. I did whatever I could. So when she completed secondary school, I told her, you go to the training college.
Is that what she wanted to? Or you had to enforce it on her?
Oh, I think she loved it. And she's still doing it.
Okay.
If she never liked it, I believe she would have opposed it. I know my sister. Yeah. But she accepted it. Yeah. She would love to impact life. So, and she likes children as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone loves
Building
children.
your family. Now you're a married man with kids.
No.
You don't have kids?
Yeah.
Or
I
you're
have a wife
married?
too.
Okay. You're yet to marry?
Yeah.
Okay. So, our dear viewers, I guess as single as single. So we'll be wrapping up very soon. What encouragement would you give to youth? Most of the time our concentration is more with the youth upcoming, you know, the teaching profession, and then your colleague teachers who are also looking up to you and other teachers who were recognized.
You see, the teaching job, it is not something to play with. I would say if you're not ready to enter it, don't. Because people think it is easy. But it's not as easy as they see it. And if you choose to be a teacher and you don't do it well, in a way, God will not take kindly with you. Like I said, that was the job of Jesus Christ. He was a great teacher. Now he's a priest, right?
Yes,
But
interceding
on
for
earth,
us.
he was a great teacher. And we all want to emulate his life. So if you choose to be a teacher, then get ready to go through what Christ went through when he was on earth. And the blessings it comes with are very abundant, and put that way. They do say that a teacher for Yaketia was through. All right. Then somebody will say, what if I don't go to heaven? It's not a matter of going to heaven. It's about the blessings of God.
Okay.
Akatriane was wrong is about the blessings of God. If you do it well, God will bless you. And people think a teacher can't be rich. what makes one rich is the blessings of God. So if you believe, if you're a Christian, you believe in God, and you choose to be a teacher, it's not about your salary. One thing is people don't know, but if you go into it well, the salary, even though not enough, if you do the work well, God knows how to help you manage your salary and you live life happily. You might not have any problem. That's how I would see the whole thing. Yeah. So when God blesses you as a teacher, you enjoy life. Yeah.
You enjoy life.
That's right.
Shout out to our teachers on strike. May God help us. And I think one of the blessings teachers get is we, your students, we grow to meet you still the same.
Yeah.
You don't change. Sometimes we even get older and our teachers still look
It's
younger.
one of the blessings, yeah.
Yes, it's one of the blessings.
Yeah.
I presume. God bless all our teachers.
Amen.
Let me quickly read some of the messages. I might not read all, but for the sake of the few who brought in earlier, Kwabena Donald said, music director Bako Pe. And Stephen Kuma says, well done, bro. We thank God for seeing you through your teaching career. We, your Seventh-day Adventist teacher training college mates, are proud of you. Keep soaring high, bro. And Michael Heaven says, each time I visited Community 6 Church, I enjoyed seeing Mr. McClean lead the choir and translate sermons to Chi. God bless you, Sir McClean. And God bless any other person who sent in messages we couldn't read. On this note, we want to say a big thank you to Mr. McClean Owusu Boateng for gracing our show and sharing your experience with us. We've picked one or two things from your experience.
Thank you very much.
Your beginning does not, although they say your beginning determines your end, but sometimes it's not always the case.
Yeah.
You can change the narrative as you go along the way. Speaking of teaching, so we want to say an upcoming 60th anniversary that's of the Seventh-day Adventist College of Education at Sokori Koforidua. They're inviting each one of us to come join, our fellow students and old teachers who have passed through the training college. And I know Mr. McClean will be there, Mr. Sumeni will be there, all our wonderful Adventist teachers who have been recognized and who are also in the field working so hard for students and for God will be there. So please try and make time to join. It's on the 13th of November 2022. That's this coming Sunday, anniversary thereby, and there's going to be a socialization night. Our president, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will be there. We have the Honorable Dr. Yao Oseduchum, Minister for Education, will be there also. Our president for the Southern Ghana Union Conference, Pastor Thomas Techi Okran, will be gracing it. And Pastor Professor Robert Osei Bonsu, President of the West Central African Division, will be there as well. Dr. Cecilia Ofusuagame will be there, the principal head for Asokori HDA Training College. So please, let's do our best to grace the occasion for them. And don't forget, 31st December, there's going to be our Pella Fest that's United in Praise. Hope Channel, it's your preferred Christian TV station. And of course, you can't deny the fact that we give you nothing but the best. From now to the end of November, we have the early bird session for you. If you're watching on our flyers, you're watching on our promos, you're going to get every idea of what is going to happen on that day. There's going to be a lot of a cappella group mounting the stage. We're going to do that at the National Theatre. So please get your early bird tickets, because from December you would have to go with the normal flow. I'm so happy you joined us on Rhythms of Life, my viewer. Please kindly stay safe, pray hard. My name is Nana Akosia Boache. Until we meet again next week, be blessed.
When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one. and it will surprise you what the Lord had.
Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does a cross so heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by.
Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord had done.
When you look at others with your lens and go, think that Christ has promised you His well done too. Count your many blessings, money cannot buy your reward in heaven or your Lord on high.
Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has said. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord had done.
Count your blessings, count your blessings, count your blessings, name them one by one. So amid the conflicts, whether great or small, do not be discouraged, God is over all. Count your many blessings, angels will attend, help and comfort give you to your journey's end.
Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what you've done.
Count your blessings, name them one by